Hey everybody, it's Gary Vaynerchuk. Super excited about this new series that we're calling Behind the Curtains, where we're going to go a little bit further into the VaynerX and my world in general on my podcast and the video chopped up content that I'm sure we'll get out of this from the StreamYard execution. Dustin, big shout out. Thanks for producing this. On the first episode, I'm here with James Orsini, the president of the Sasha Group, an agency we stood up a couple years ago to focus on the SMB and mid world. I'm going to introduce him, and he's going to introduce a very fine gentleman who's actually executed on the behind the curtains. Just to set this all up, what I mean by that is I'm going to start trying to really go even further into detail around what is making businesses grow, normally through the foundation in my world of communication and execution around content and media. My hope is that these stories really inspire a lot of people to realize how real this is. I think sometimes my caricature and my style of communication confuses people that there's actually meat and real life behind this. A lot of times I think Gary V, the social media entity, undermines Gary Vaynerchuk, the operations aspect. And then more importantly, we have the great fortune of coming across incredible operators and entrepreneurs who are able to take the hypothesis, the blueprint, the strategies, and actually execute them, because we come across many that can't. And in today's episode, we have one of the gentlemen that I most admire from taking it and actually executing it. So first, James Orsini. James is an incredible family man, a wonderful corporate executive, a great partner in crime in our inner world, a Seton Hall enthusiast, and has some of the greatest throwback Thursday pictures when he was 81 pounds and a mustache that took up 80 of it. Mr. Orsini, for the percentage of the audience that doesn't know you through our content, please introduce yourself, and then please introduce our incredible guest.
Thanks so much, Gary. I'm James Orsini. I've been in the VaynerX world for a little over 5.5 years, and various roles: Chief Integration Officer, Chief Operating Officer, and now most recently President of one of the newer divisions here that Gary's actually a company. It's not a division, the Sasha Group, which he affectionately named after his dad, Sasha Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you remember, but you said, "Hey, I'm naming this after my father, so don't screw it up." When you gave me a job.
I do.
But anyway, one of our offerings, which was great, I remember it vividly, came over a breakfast that Gary and I had, and Gary said, "I want to start this consulting division. I want to mentor companies in my style and success of rapid, explosive, and that's going to take us beyond marketing in what we do in this consulting offering." And that the Vayner Mentors later became a cornerstone of the Sasha Group. Habib, the CEO of Young Nails, was one of our first. There were 3 in the inaugural class, and Habib was one of our first mentors clients. And I'm thrilled at the way this stranger became a raving fan for all that we do, and more importantly, the advice, counsel, direction, and demonstration that we provide. Habib, I know you've done a couple things. Introduce yourself, and then really talk about how you found us and then came into Mentors.
Yeah, so Habib Salo, CEO of Young Nails. We're a family-owned business, been around for 28 years. And basically what happened was we came to a point in our business where traditional distribution and traditional marketing stopped working regardless of how much money we were investing in it. And I was scared. That's the truth. I was scared. I was scared for our business. And I hired multiple consultants. I hired multiple marketing professionals, quote unquote, to bring inside. None of it worked. I started listening to Gary's content, and I made a through someone. Yeah, I do actually. We started making YouTube videos, and somebody actually commented, "Hey, have you ever heard of Gary V?" And I was like, "No, I don't. What do I need that for?" That's literally what I thought. And then I had a couple of my friends say, "Hey, check him out." And I was like, "Okay, I'll check it out." I listened to the podcast because I have about a 45-minute drive into work. And I was like, holy shit, this is exactly what we need. I heard the 4D program. I called in. I talked to D. Simone. He's the first person I talked to. He got me going. And then I was so passionate about the 4Ds after I took it because it made such a huge impact on our business. I called back.
And real quick, I apologize.
Yeah, no, cool.
4Ds was a program that we still run. We got to really talk about that, James, about the virtual version in the fall. It's now a correct me if I'm wrong, James, it's a $12,000 full day consulting session. At the time it was $10K. So that was, what I'm so excited about is that $10K actually being valuable to you. Because honestly, and James knows this, I sat on the idea forever because I was petrified. Because when I think about, I grew up on my dad's side, 10K not working is devastating to a small
That's right.
business. Where you really felt the impact on that 10?
Oh, it was enormous just from the conversations. The meeting when you came in the room was huge for me because it let me know that I was on the right direction. And then I was able to talk to Andy. I was able to have a conversation with Andy. And I was like, dude, can you just look at what we're doing, please? And
Hey, just a quick plug for our audience. That's a small classroom type setting, 12 to 15 people max. You get real personal attention. It's a full day immersion, 8 in the morning to 6 at night. Your head explodes when you walk out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it's ridiculous. You're mentally exhausted and excited at the same time. It's intense. It was unbelievable. I mean, that in itself made a huge impact on our business because I learned what a Facebook pixel was. Just from that, just taking that alone was huge. And I came back and I'd asked Andy, I'm like, do you guys have anything else? I need to work with you because I actually had something to compare it to. I've worked with other consulting firms. And then when I came to 4Ds, I was like, this is not normal. Like these guys don't even know who the hell I am and they're helping me. So I wanted more. I asked for more. And Andy was like, let me talk to James. I think there's something here. And that's when James called me and said, hey, man, we got this program we're launching. It's called Mentors. And I was like, yeah. It wasn't even, you got to convince me. I'm in because I knew. I'm like, this is not normal. That's how we got started.
Yeah.
Real quick, just knowing how content works. I know there's other entrepreneurs and executives driving a car, walking a dog, sitting COVID. Just before we get into all the deals that got there, from a headline standpoint, what's the biggest thing you can share here? It'd be like growth from what to what on what, like, give me the mic drop moment of the impact on the Vaynerchuk.
Yep. The mic drop moment is 2 years ago, which it was in 2018 that we started Mentors program. We were doing 10 million a year. We're going to crack 20 in 2020. It's more than likely that we're probably going to get into the low 20s, 23 or 24. If that's not proof, I don't know what is. Like,
yeah, and I think where that comes in, and apologies to Gary's fan who's in the back of the car, so he may come in and out, but realizing that was your goal when you came to Mentors. Okay, what is the goal that we are working back from?
Yep.
And you said, look, my 2017 financials say 10 million. I want to double my business in 3 years.
Yep.
And I think you've now just shared the mic drop is you will reach that goal.
Yeah, we're going to crack it
in your final year of the mentor relationship.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We're actually going to go beyond. It's probably going to be the lower. There isn't any other proof. It's not likes, comments, or DMs, or growing my subscriptions or Instagram channel. All that is nice. But the real moment for a business owner like myself is the fact that I have doubled my business in less than 3 years, which was the goal. And that's, everybody here is just like completely losing their minds. They see it. Everybody sees it now, James.
And let me ask you this. You've doubled your business by having fun doing it.
Oh my God, we're having a blast. We're having so much fun in that process. We're reinvigorated. We have a media division. So now we identify as a media company that just happens to sell nail products. And that's the biggest transition of who we actually are. You could literally drop anything in our business now. It's like you can drop coffee, you can drop tools. It doesn't matter what it is.
The thing that excites me is a couple things. One, sounds like you're going to be solidly over 20.
Correct.
2, that also means that in 2021, there's a number behind that.
That's right.
It's momentum.
That's right.
Number 3, and I remember this vividly, I remember walking out of the room being pumped because I'm like, wait till this guy realizes he's going to get there if he does it, and you ended up doing it. And I believed you were going to, which is part of the energy. But I also believe you would be doing 6 or 5 today had you not, because of the way the world has evolved.
Yeah. Yep.
Had he not changed his business model, he would have been doing 6 or 5. Remember,
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
He was vulnerable to distributors. The world, COVID. I'm not even talking COVID. I thought that was the case.
Yeah.
Like it'll be in some real shit. Because I remember you also told me somewhere that the main distributor, no bullshit, gut feeling. If you didn't go down that path, what do you think the business would be doing right now?
I honestly think we'd be around $4 or $5 million a year. We would have been chopped in half. There's no question. And like in so much trouble debt wise, in so much trouble, because all the distributors, what they do is they send back all the product. when they're not selling it, which is what happened to us, but we're able to handle it. So that is, and let's not forget COVID, like the fundamentals that we set up during this time, our business, because we went e-com, because we went full e-com, hardcore, and that's been the development of our business for the last 3 years. To be honest with you, I didn't expect this, but it all makes sense now. But when COVID hit, we didn't expect the business to explode, but it did. But it's all because of the things that we've been doing for the last 2 years in the setup.
Yeah. Hey, Gary, I don't want to lose sight of a point that he made. And we took it for granted, but let's pause on. He saw himself as a media company who just happened to manufacture and sell nail polish. And that's the point of differentiation, right? That you said, listen, the mentor, why are they going to come to Sasha or Vayner when they can go to Deloitte or somebody else? It's because we look at it, start with the fact that you're a media property, a media company first, publisher, and then you happen to sell.
Also, because Deloitte and Bain and McKinsey aren't built for his business, nor the 99% of the people that are listening now, because the fees are greater than the revenue of his business. That was the white space I saw. That's the white space I see, which is that there's 1,000 people listening right now. And by the way, the Sasha Group will be great at it. And by the way, I'm trying to inspire people who are listening to start companies like
servicing this for
dollars. Yeah, that's a huge fucking ROI.
Yeah,
100%. Let me ask you this, and I think this is a very important question because a lot of people are going to deal with this. Who was scared shitless and thought we were completely full of shit, or I was completely full of shit, if anybody, during the process? Because I think it's important, because I think a lot of people are going to be dealing with this.
Yeah, a lot of people were scared shitless here. There's no question. There was a lot of questioning of where are we going? Because when you make a move, drop trade shows, all of them. And when you make a move,
What about even before that? To the point of even signing up for mentors, siblings, parents, top executives. How many people thought, this is too crazy, and that guy's full of shit? Because what I think is happening, most people are spending money on Deloitte's and all the things James talking about. It's suits and ties, it's LinkedIn profile, and it feels safe, but it's a complete waste of $100K. I know ours is loose, which means I have empathy. Was there any, and it won't hurt my feelings, so honestly, but I want to help with this is behind the curtains. Behind the curtains is somebody saying that guy's fucking, really, I need it to hear it.
Yeah, I can say this. I think probably there wasn't a direct, what the hell are you doing? But I can read body language. And the thing is that my mom and my brother they trust me 1,000% to make the decision, even if they think I'm psycho, which a lot of times I can be. But there was probably some thought there. My mom is traditional Korean hardcore. She's hardcore. So I think she was looking at me what are you doing? But now, here's what's funny. Now, every time we talk about what our business experience, in her Korean accent, she goes, oh, this Gary, he changed our life. No joke, man. She's never met you, but I don't even know if she's watched a piece of your content ever, but she fucking loves you. and that's where it's come. I will tell her. That's where it's come full circle.
Habib, talk to us a little bit.
Honestly, for me, I'm sorry. Go ahead, James.
No, I was just going to say, talk to us a little bit about, you're dropping the names of people that you encountered, obviously, and Nick and Andy, but I think it's important for people to understand, yes, you're getting attention of Gary's time, which in and of itself is super valuable, but there's a team of mentors, folks, the resources of people come to your aid as needed.
So that's, of course, any time spent with Gary is incredibly valuable. I think what a lot of people don't see is what Gary was talking about earlier, is the meat, right? Behind Gary is this unbelievable team. And for example, at our last meeting, I remember Gary was asking who's training Habib on Facebook and Instagram ads. That was part of the program. And it was okay, we're going to get Sid, we're going to get Justin, we're going to stick him in a room for 3 hours. He's going to get trained. And it's that type of attention and that type of, no, we're going to sit your ass down and you're going to learn this shit. You're going to really get it from the people that do it for me, that work on my team. You're going to get this, whether you're in the Sasha Group and everything. That is where you're going to get that.
And we sent people to your warehouse?
People came to our facility and actually walked the floor and made changes, very small tweaks that literally increased our output, 5x, which was crazy. That was in a 6-hour session. I remember that.
What people forget is I built an e-commerce fulfillment business as a 22-year-old in 1996. I think there's, again, behind the curtain, like, look, this is going to be what it's going to be. And by the way, I plan on future episodes on Behind the Curtain talking about things that don't work, because this is a value prop execution. But this is very real. And I think me inspiring people that it's real as the microphone is only one thing. Like, this is a real person. This is your real life.
Yeah.
A lot of people can associate with immigrant parents who are going to be cynical and scared and traditional. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening right now that want the Mexican father or Russian mom to also say, hey, that person helped us, because most people are frustrated in their family dynamics or small businesses or the cynical CFO. I don't think anybody listening right now thinks to the little tweaks we make in a warehouse that change the business.
Sorry, go ahead.
Gary, I just wanted to talk about a point that you made before, was that you believed he was going to do it. One of the things that we shouldn't leave out is there's a selective nature to the mentors. We pick who it is that we really want to work with, that we believe we can really help their businesses. And you saw that from the moment we started talking about Habib. In fact, in most of the early ones, even today, you're on the phone with them before they sign up for the Mentors program to get a feel for the businesses. So this particular program is one for everyone, but two, it's selective on our part as well. And I think when you realize this is a business like Habib's, where you knew, hey man, you're selling to 300,000+ licensed cosmetologists, and there's 160 million women in the US. We should be focusing our guns elsewhere. One of the things that we also talked about, Habib, was this deployment of the growth pillars, and you actually, as I recall, putting them up on the wall in your office, like a of marching orders. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, one of the things that's incredible about the program that is the delivery of the goods. That on a week when we started, it was on a weekly basis, where there's so much information, so much detail in what we need to do and how we need to execute. And we literally took the plan and we sprayed it on the wall, and then we would go to work every single week and basically have it there to execute, to make sure that everything you're feeding us, that we're executing on a regular, consistent daily basis. But spraying it out there, I don't think people understand that what you guys deliver, it is dense. You know what I mean? It's not like, here's a 3-page report on how to improve your business. You guys actually got into my business, from our logo to the brand to our operations to how to analyze data. That was a huge one. How to look at our own data and understand that there's low-hanging fruit there. Instead of prospecting, taking advantage of our existing customer base, taking more care of them, understanding them on a more detailed basis through data analysis, and then remarketing. That concept was, and I know it seems so simple for people. They're like, oh, well, of course you look at your own. It wasn't for me. It was always new customers, but so many things.
And by the way, somebody heard Facebook Pixel earlier, but today's version of that is a TikTok ad spend. What's crazy about Vayner is I'm of the second. I don't think people understand that, right? Oh, like, this is all of the second.
That's right.
Tell me the first moment that you were like, oh fuck, this might be real.
I think the first oh fuck moment was after we walked out of the initial meeting, and there was already so much information. And I looked at Greg and I looked at Tracy, who's our general manager, and I was like, we have so much fucking work to do. It's insane. And it was like part terrifying, but mostly exciting.
What about in implementation? I want to get into things that I think will really help be an insight. I appreciate that. And obviously, I think it's become very obvious to people. There's a lot more going on with Sasha Group and Mentors for SMBs. But what about the first thing that had like a Facebook ad or a reply or a PR opportunity, something like, oh, go ahead.
Give you the one. So after like the Facebook, Instagram training that I got, and I got in a room with Sid, and he was basically showing me everything, how to do it. Him and Justin both training me like crazy on the stuff. I literally went back, and this was July of 2018. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but I was like, I'm just going to start. And I started every single day. We saw 2.5x our e-com sales from when we started Instagram and Facebook advertising. And that's not just myself, but that's when my brother and my mom, we were like, holy shit, like this really is getting out of control. And it was like, how the fuck are we going to handle this was like the next question. But that happened right away. Once we started executing, I was putting out ass loads of creative and just testing and learning like crazy.
I love it.
How about when Gary asked you about the SKU of the orange nail polish? Like, you didn't think we were going to get into the details.
No, I didn't. Of course not that much. Or even there was a moment of like donuts and nails, and we were talking about it. It was
clouds and dirt, man. Yeah, it's clouds and dirt.
Right, absolutely.
Again, I think from my standpoint, one thing that I'm trying to figure out in this next decade is how to, without it being an infomercial, without it being testimonials, how do I use what I know is happening, which is every business that is capable of executing what comes out of my mouth, whether they're free.
Gary, I think if we, there was, when I opened up, I talked about how a stranger became a raving fan. And I asked a couple guys from my team to plot Habib's journey, because I think this speaks to your content and the fact that you're giving it away, how to do 64 pieces of content a day. That is so important that up to this, because when you look at it, he said he first became aware of who you, and then he engaged by watching a piece of content from you, and then he subscribed by reaching out to find out more about Vayner offerings, which was the 4Ds, and then he converted. He attended a 4D, and then he got the 4Ds got him excited enough to want to be a part of the Mentors program, and then he kind of ascended by going into Amazon optimization.
Oh, yeah, that's another one.
Came back to us for the equivalent of the Super Bowl commercial for small business or a piece of hero content. Talked about the fact that we were recruiting for him, and then you became an advocate. Obviously, you did some blog posts. You did a video interview with Maribel, who runs.
Yeah.
Consulting division, and then ultimately you became a promoter, and you recommended us to another mentor.
Yeah,
that eight step journey is just super valuable for any business.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it. I really don't. I don't know how to say it. It's not a commercial or me just trying to like puff this up at all. I just don't know how to say this. It works. It's kind of like this. You guys deliver such a dense, incredible package, right? And you do your part. There's no question about it. As long as I do my part and I execute against what you're telling me, the shit's going to explode. And literally, I went into this with a mindset of like, I don't care what they tell me, I'm going to do it. Because I was so sick and tired of dealing with all of these professionals in the field. I was exhausted. And I had just enough fear in me where it was like, if I don't change, my business is going under. So it's like when I met you guys and when I listened to Gary's content, I was like, it was like, no question, this is it. So I made the commitment, if we join the Mentors program, which we're going to do, it was really, if you guys are going to have us accepted in the program, which you did, thank God. Whatever the fuck they tell me, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And like literally almost blind, I'm going to listen and I'm going to go full steam ahead. And that's the part, is the information that you give is current and it's correct. Like it's current, it's correct. And as long as I add my hard work ethic, that combination is just, look what's happened.
And I think the audience needs to hear too that.
Hey, James.
Go ahead, Gary.
Thank you, brother. First of all, I don't know if we said it up front, but I'm driving, so I apologize.
No worries.
But I got to hear quite a bit. I just want to remind everyone, to be frank, I don't give a shit if anybody works with the Sasha Group. I think James might. I really don't give a shit about if people work with Vayner. I really don't. What I wanted was the one thing you said. The number one thing I wanted, which is like, if you don't do the thing, like I basically look at myself as a basic nutrition, health, and fitness guy in business. Eat well, clean, and proper calories, and work out, and very good things are going to happen. I am really good at my craft when it comes to communication and business building. And what's really cool about Mentors is, unlike Gary Vee or my content, we can go deep. We can ask
Yeah.
about orange nail polish. We can figure out analytics is a strength here. It's a weakness there. Like every company's different. That's why I'm so proud of the product.
Right.
I do think it is. I do think Mentors in the Sasha Group is the best VaynerX product right now because of the ROI, hence what's happening here. But you said the only thing that matters for everybody who's listening, whatever it is, if you don't actually do the thing, or if you stop after 3 weeks, like working out, you have no fucking chance.
That's right.
And that's why I'm sure, because I've been listening, I'm like, oh, fuck, James is going to get a lot of applications for mentors now. What everyone's in for a rude awakening is they're going to be filtered and most are going to get no's because I'm scared shitless. I don't want your $400,000. I don't give a shit about that at the Sasha level. I get like $19 at that level. I'm scared if somebody pays that, sucks, and then is walking around town saying Gary V stinks. He's full of shit. I need Korean moms saying, building shrines about me because that's building brand.
Yeah.
The reason we picked you in the inaugural class was exactly this moment. I manifested this moment. I'm like, this fucker's going to do it.
Yeah. And I mean,
the reason the people that are mentors is Mark Evans, Mattabelle, Katie, James. They've been with me for years so they can do the vetting of the applicant, not the other way around.
And just to add on what you're saying, Gary, it's like if you go to a nutritionist and it's a bad nutritionist and they steer you in the wrong direction, and even if you follow all those instructions, you're going to have some problems struggling. And that's the thing is you guys are the top fucking nutritionists with the best information of how to get fit. And then I got to put the work in. I got to follow those instructions. And the combination is this. Let me look at me. Look how fucking good I look. It's amazing. You know what I mean?
Hey,
like,
Habib, I think it's important.
James, what's been the delta between Habib as a case? What's been the delta between the mentor clients that have gotten the most out of it versus all been pretty damn successful? But there's probably deltas in there. Any insight on that?
Yeah, I think Habib followed the blueprint. You used a scenario for me once before, Gary. You're like, why does it work for some so hugely successfully and not for others? And you're like, I know why. Because it's a recipe. And if you fuck with something in the recipe, it still tastes good, but it doesn't taste exactly as I had meant for it to taste. Habib followed the recipe line by line. I got some people who are leaving out too much salt or too much sugar. They're still successful. But they didn't go line by line of the recipe. He is one of the rare few, and we have a couple, but not many, who went for every line of it. I think it's important, though, that the audience hear that it wasn't all roses, Habib. Year one, how'd that feel?
Year one, there was no growth. We literally broke. It was like the same as the year before. But I'm looking at all the changes and I'm like, okay, I see e-com increasing. I see distribution. There's that trade-off happening. And I'm like, this shit's coming. It's coming. Right. It's going to come big.
Yeah, and the reason why I bring that up is because, Gary, this is a 3-year share in this. Yeah. A lot of people are like, wow, 3 years. And I'm like, yeah, but there's no year one. If you're doing it right, there's no share for us. Because you're doing what we asked you to do and you're implementing that, and it's change. And Gary built all his companies and he talks about the steps here. It's a break even here and then it's a growth here and then I'm investing more. So remember, we're modeling it after the successful businesses that he's had.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what we're doing. Even from the content level, James, we're putting out like 60 to 70 pieces. We're literally following the plan from content to business to operations to data analysis. And like I said, we're a marketing company. We're putting out 60 to 70 pieces of content today. We follow the volume model. Like all of these things we do.
Did you hit TikTok hard or no?
Oh man. Yeah. We're at 2.1 million on TikTok. We won. And that came from you guys. You guys are the ones that said, get on TikTok, get on LinkedIn. And I was like, oh shit, okay, boom, we did it. We executed 4 posts a day and it just caught fire, man. TikTok is insane. It's so insane.
He's messing with Reels now, Gary.
Yeah, I'm fucking around with Reels right now.
Of course because we're of the second. Of course he is, because we're of the second.
That we're of the second, exactly. That's exactly right.
Library.
So while Gary comes in now, let's talk a little bit about
Wine Library for 8 years was of the second.
Gary, we don't have you. I'm just going to fill in with a little of what is the right candidate, right? So it's a business that has been around for at least 3 years, ideally doing about 10 million, could be a little less, could be a little more. We obviously from 3 to 50 that has simply plateaued or gotten stuck. you were at $1 million for a little bit, right? You were stuck.
For a long while, for probably about 4 to 5 years, we're just in that zone. We could not crack out of it. We could not get out of it, man.
So that's the right business for a mentor. One that is simply plateaued, just can't break through. Successful, but wants to be more. That's the difference in the companies like Wine Library and others that Gary's built, is that explosive growth, right? Not just the 10% growth, which is a great growth, but how do we get to explosive growth?
Yeah, it's explosive. We're having, as I was telling you before, we're having troubles keeping up right now. There's moments that are scary.
Talk to us a little about why you felt compelled to recommend us to Harvest Dental. What was there with Sasha and his team?
I recommend you to everybody, because I just share I literally do. No joke, because I just look at us. Look what happened to us. What else? I don't need to even say anything. Look what happened to us. Look what we're doing. So give James a call.
We appreciate that when they do, clearly, and we hope to help him in a similar manner for how we were able to help you. But I think it's important. One, you're following the Gary content model.
Yep.
Two, you're recognizing and seeing yourself as a media property first.
Yep.
Who happens to be a nail polish manufacturer. Three, you're not afraid to be first guy in, right?
Nope.
Four, it's volume over quality, so quantity over quality.
Yeah.
It is that you're doing.
Yep.
And I think your ability to monetize the value, because let's face it, the 4Ds was an investment, the mentors is an investment, but it was kind of investment in yourself if you think about it.
Yeah, big time. And the way I compare it is, look how much money I've spent on trade shows, man. James, the amount of money I forked in trade shows and trade magazines is like what I invested in 4Ds and mentors is nothing compared to that. So that's the way I looked at it. I looked at it as I'm actually saving a shit ton of money, and this is nothing. It's a small investment, and what you get, it's a rocket ship.
So I think that's another great point. I don't want the audience to believe that the mentors require you to have a blank check to invest in all this stuff. What we do is we ask you to reallocate resources to fund what it is that we believe is important and urgent, and separate that from just as, hey, this is how we've done it. This is how everybody does it. So therefore, we've got to do it the same way. I think your ability to see things in your hallways like trade shows.
Yeah.
And you know what, we could siphon off some money here and invest it in some of the newer things that we're doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. And the other thing too was like the model that you guys that was offered, it's a share model. And it's not I'm going to fork out $300,000 a year in fees. And it's like, you guys share in our success. Like, you have skin in the game. And I think it's a true partnership.
Yeah, you've heard me say 100 times, right? We win when you win.
That's right.
So the upfront fees that we talk about are really garnishing the attention of the folks in the room. But we only win when it is that you win.
That's exactly right.
Which is why we don't force you to follow the blueprint, but we know if you do, it could be successful. Gary is not able to get back in. He's trying to get back in. I think what we'll do is here he is now. So he'll wrap us up.
Listen, James, thank you so much. Listen, this was 100% not true. 95% for the audience, 5% for Orsini over here. And really, the reason I felt comfortable even staying out, but I'm glad my Wi-Fi came back, is to be delivered on what I want, which is like, life's about execution. I talk a lot of things in a lot of places, and I believe in every one of them. Happiness and optimism and social media and TikTok, all of them, because I live them and I watch tens of thousands of other people, organizations, and companies live them. It's hard to believe, just like if you're 287 pounds and you've never been thin, it's hard to believe until you actually go through 2 years of eating right and executing. So you've really done a mitzvah. And I see the word here. Big shout out to my grandma, Anya, for that one. For a lot of people that are listening and or watching. And then obviously, the SashaGroup.com for anybody who is inspired and is finally ready to stop fucking around and overpaying for bullshit or living an ideology. 2021 is here. COVID has sped up everything I believe in. Everything. And the opportunity is enormous. And oh, by the way, if you don't reach out to the Sasha Group, perfect. And go figure this out for yourself. I put out enough free content that you might be able to, and you may not be able to afford the details of a huge team, but you can at least start. But it's the times now. There's never a bad time to build a great business. and I highly recommend everybody. And I hope you're inspired by this wonderful entrepreneur and actual executor.
Yeah, we have just a couple more slots left for 2020. And then obviously we'll be taking stuff in 2021. But it's a lengthy program. It runs multiple months, and then we stay engaged with you for the 3 years of the share agreement. We're thrilled at Habib's success. So we know obviously we'll be working with he and his brother Greg as the co-founder, and Tracy,
And
their
oh, by
GM.
the way, this
Yeah, we hear you. Yeah.
there's another.
No, we don't hear you. Sorry about that. Anyway, I think we to our
Little bits.
a little bit of Gary goes a long way. So, I always prided myself in some of my other roles as helping to be a decoder ring for what it is that he was trying to say that thing. Anyway, listen, I don't want to take up more of your time, and even though we're pressed up. In fact, we're 5 minutes over what we're supposed to do. Thanks again.
Thank you.
And looking forward to your continued success.
Yeah, thank you, James, and really appreciate everything you guys have done. And I would just, again, if anybody's thinking about this, do it. I hope you do it. It's changed our life in a big way. So thank you.